Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the final of the first event of the ČPTour series 2024. Today we have David Mrázek against Jaroslav Tichý. The discipline at play is 9-ball. As Jaroslav breaks off and pots the 1-ball, let us remind ourselves which clubs these players represent. Jaroslav Tichý is playing for BC Rybska, and David Mrázek represents Metropol České Budějovice. And almost a very interesting outcome to the first game. A chance perhaps for David Mrázek now to take an early advantage. He should be okay to get up to the 3-ball, a simple run through, but the 4-ball tight on the left rail and the 5-ball somewhat obscured by the 6 and 8 might be an issue here. Let's see how he goes about clearing the stable. Nervy first pot, but he'll be happy to get that out of the way. It's always important to pot your first ball. No matter how innocuous it may seem, it gives you an early boost of confidence. And if he can clear this table, he will be feeling comfortable right away. Good angle on the 4-ball. He should be able to just stun this in and leave himself on the 5. And he decides to play safe, which is a very wise decision. Why risk when you have basically guaranteed safety? Now then, Jarda might choose to try to pot this 4 into the left corner, into the left side pocket, excuse me. But position is far from guaranteed, even if he makes the pot. Almost another pot on the 9-ball from Jarda. He's in attacking mode from the very first game. David showing maybe a bit more caution, which is understandable given their career trajectories. Indeed, this match might be seen as somewhat of a David versus Goliath encounter, because Jaroslav Tichý is one of the most well-known and decorated names in Czech pool. There is not much need to introduce him to regular viewers, whereas David Mrázek is a bit more of a mystery. He is somebody who, although showing great potential from very early on in his career, has not had that many notable results, strangely enough. Although he is only 19 years of age, so there is still plenty of time for him to show his skill. Ooh, Jaroslav is very lucky there with that shot. That was quite a mistake on the safety. He should never have been anywhere near the 8 ball. Nervy first game this, which is normal because the occasion is big. It's not just a Czech pool tour, it is the first one of the season. So the one who wins here will be ranked number 1 in the country for 2024. Of course, that will change as the year progresses and results come and go for certain players, but it's always a good feeling to be ranked number 1 in the country, even if that's only for a few weeks. This time Jaroslav Tichý is not lucky, and David Mrázek will fancy his chances to clear this table. Oh, does he have the angle to come up for the 7? It's not clear, let's see. In the best case, he could elect to run through with a touch of left side, running side, to come back up for the 7. Let's see how he maneuvers this. Oh, turns out he did have the angle, so this is plumb position. Shouldn't be any issue here. David Mrázek is somebody who is not entirely new to being in finals in Czech events. He did make the final of a ČPTour in 2019 when he was only 16 years of age. 15, sorry. When he was only 15 years of age, so the potential was clear right from the beginning. But David hasn't played that many tournaments since then because he had to focus on studies and on work. And as we all know, pool does require a lot of free time and some money also. If you want to practice a lot, you also need to have a few drinks, you need to pay for food, and that can really make a dent in your monthly budget. So I think we can all empathize with David's struggles to find some playing time. But whenever he has played, he's come far in tournaments. He's a regular fixture in last 16 and quarterfinals, and also no stranger to being in the final itself. Last time he played, he lost 8-4 to Petr Urban, so he'll be hoping to make a step up this time, and he started well. Robin Vladika, as we've so often seen, is the match referee, racking the balls for the players and making sure they stick to the allotted time frame for every shot, which is 30 seconds per shot, with 60 seconds being given to a player after their break shot or coming to the table after the opponent's unsuccessful break shot, and also with the added bonus of having one extension per game, which allows a player an extra 30 seconds to think and can only be used once per game. So it is a useful tool, but one that should be used wisely. Oftentimes players don't need an extension per game, so they just don't use it, or they elect to use it on the 9 ball, even if it is a very simple shot on the 9. They may decide to just call extension at the very beginning of the shot, in order for the beep that always comes when you approach the deadline to shoot, that it doesn't affect them. David will not be happy with that. That was a very presentable table, and had the 4 gone in, it would have quite probably been a run out. As it is, Jaroslav Tichý has a great chance to make up for his mistakes in the first game and level at 1-1. Good pace for the 5 ball. Simple screw back for the 6. He will want to avoid cannoning the 8 on the way through, which he did, because had he missed the 8 with the 5 ball, the 8 ball would have been over the pocket, which would have been a guaranteed pot and almost guaranteed position for the 9, sorry. But now he will have to get onto the 8 ball from the 7, and he should do that here with a simple run through. He doesn't want the cue ball on the cushion. It's good. This is going to be 1-1. Jaroslav Tichý, on the other hand, is no stranger whatsoever to being in the very end game of Czech national tournaments. He has won the ČPTour 9-ball both last year and the year before, and he was outright national champion in 9-ball in 2020. So he knows very well how to handle the pressure of these situations. And he will be feeling the favorite in this match, both because of experience, which comes with age because Jaroslav is 30 years old, and because of his track record in the Czech pool scene. This year is going to be a special year for Jaroslav Tichý, as he will play in the European Championships for the first time in his career, seniors that is. He has played in the Junior European Championship, but more on that in a bit. Thanks to his results last season, in which he was second overall in the national rankings, Jaroslav Tichý has qualified for the European Championship, which will be held at, as of yet, undisclosed date, somewhere in autumn, and he will be practicing very hard for that, no doubt. Also, Jaroslav Tichý represents the Czech Republic in the Federal Cup against Slovakia, so he's accustomed to playing with and beating the best players there are. But he's lost position there, so he'll need to be careful not to scratch when playing this cannon, and he's done a good job. David can see the free ball, not sure if he can pot it into the center pocket, but he has hardly any path to get up for the 4 if he can't pot it. So this may be decided on a safety battle. He may choose just to play a safe back, put the cue ball on the short rail beneath the 9 ball. Not too sure about that shot. This may be too far for a jump for Jaroslav across half the table, but if he can get below the 8 ball and play a lot of left spin, he could very well pot this free ball. Let's see what happens. Worst possible outcome. We've seen this happen so many times when a ball is so invitingly over a pocket, but you are hooked. You think that any kind of touch on the ball will make it drop. Alas, it is not always the case. Sometimes the white ball drops like now, and this should be a good chance for David Mrázek to counter. 5 ball is a bit awkward. Looks like it goes to the bottom right pocket, so if he gets on that with a good angle for the 6, he will fancy his chances. Although the 7 ball is not straightforward either, it is in that most awkward of positions when it is right by the side pocket, not potable into it, and jacked up by the point of the side pocket when playing into the top pocket. So if he is to make sure of the 7 ball, he will want to be as straight as possible from the 6. But he is straight here, so he will not have a good angle. on the 6th ball. So he may choose to play a backspin with a lot of right spin just to force the angle out for the 6. Or just make sure of the pot. With the way the balls are now, he is going to try and get onto the 7 for the bottom or right bottom pocket as we look from this angle. To do that, he'll need to miss the 9 and go through the gap between 8 and 9 off 2 rails. Cue ball's good, but he took his eye off the pot. Another thing that so often happens, even to top players. One of the best pieces of advice any coach, any mentor, any experienced player can give you is to never sacrifice the pot for position. Because even if you run out of position, you are still on the table, you are in control of the situation. Whereas if you miss playing for position, it is your opponent who calls the shots. And Robin seems to be cleaning the white ball, or not. Maybe there was a speck, I'm not sure. Made sure of the jump, but lost the cue ball, so this is going to be a tough one to play. Not exactly sure what he played there, but it's a decent outcome for him. So far, I could say that luck is favoring Jaroslav Tichý, but it's just the third frame of a possible 21, so there is no way of knowing who will have all the luck across the entire match. David could shoot the 7 into the bottom right pocket, which he seems to be doing, and he's made it. Yes, perfect on the 8. Simple stun shot, maybe a slight stun run through, and he's on the 9. Some players may be tempted to just roll the 8 ball in and make sure of a straight lay for the 9, but that is risky because white ball can drift. David has rolled it in here, and it has paid off, but if you are to be faced with a strong stun shot or a slow follow through, you will always be more confident in making the strong stun shot, because that way, even if you hit the cue ball slightly off the center, the side will not be interfering with the path of the cue ball. However, if you just roll it and you miscue or don't get the cue ball right in the center, the side may very well throw it off its path, especially if the table is a bit dirty or conditions are damp or the balls are dirty. So you always fancy the stun shot. (2-1) for David Mrázek. He'll be happy with the beginning. Could have been 3-0 had he made that 4 ball in the second frame, but I'm sure he won't have too many complaints with the way this match is going, especially with Jaroslav Tichý looking a bit shaky. Unfortunate. Doesn't seem like he has a shot on the 1 ball, with the balls laid out invitingly. What does he do now? Does he play push out? Because if he does, he will either leave an open 1 ball to Jaroslav Tichý or have to face the hook again, or does he try to go out with the hook? He is going for the 1. He'll want to leave the cue ball where the 1 ball is and send the 1 ball down the table. Yes, that is good. That is a good shot, although Jaroslav Tichý will fancy the jump shot. He'll want to leave the cue ball where the 1 ball is, a full contact on the 1, send the 1 ball down the table in order to leave the cue ball in place. with Jaroslav Tichý making the jump shot. Now then, Jaroslav may choose to play safe behind the 9-ball. It's a simple safety, simple hook. But knowing Jaroslav, attack is always plan A for him. And if he gets on the 5-ball with a good angle, he will most likely square at 2-all. This is good. A touch of left side to make sure he's straightish on the 5. That is perfect. Looks like he's a bit too straight, so he will have to play the 6-8 combo. In that case, he will hope to leave the 6 in the draws of the pocket. So slow pace is the order of the day. He's okay. He's relatively straight on the 6, so shouldn't be too much problem in potting it. And yes, 9 on the side, 2-2. So often players forget about the ball they use to make the combo and where it ends up, because that is the ball you will have to play after you make the combo. And if it runs safe or awkward, you're no good. So not only do you have to make sure of making the combo, you also need to think about where the ball you're playing lands. So players who play 9-ball, or any other game for that matter, spend a lot of time practicing combinations. And if you look at some of the best players on the circuit, they almost always make the combo. And that is through practice. There is no luck involved whatsoever. That is practice, practice, practice. The only way to reach the level at which David Mrázek and Jaroslav Tichý are playing at the moment. Dry break. David could cut the 1-ball, but the cue ball would be running away from the 2, so if he does that, he'll have to play with a lot of left side, which makes the pot, which is already hard, even harder. So he might choose to play safe. Cue ball down the table, 1-ball where the 2-ball is. He's been lucky. That was not how he played it. 2-ball is. Had that cue ball, had that 1-ball stayed in the lucky pocket, that was not how he played. Would have been advantage Jaroslav Tichý. Oh, is it there? No, it's short. Wow. Who could have seen that coming? The line was good, but it just didn't have enough pace. So if Jaroslav can negotiate the tricky 5 and 7, he will be in a good position to take this frame. Seems to be somewhat straight on the 4. Had a bit of angle, but cue ball's running away. Into the pocket. Oh, I must say, this is a nervy beginning to the final. Both of these players were playing to a higher standard in the run-up to this match. But we often see that happen, because players are both tired, physically and mentally, and under the influence of the occasion. No matter how experienced you are, you will always feel a bit of jitters playing in the final. And you can never expect yourself to be completely free of the nerves, but you can work on playing better under those conditions. So the best players, they don't negate the fear, they don't negate the stage fright. They embrace it, and they try to use it as fuel to concentrate more, to focus extra harder, and to get the best out of themselves. Still on the 7, although it is trickier than he would have hoped. And he will probably need to play this quite slow, which makes it even more missable. Potentially a big moment in this match. Good shot and perfect on the 8. Just roll that in, let's see it again. To play this shot you need to have a perfect stance and a cue action that is as straight as an arrow. Because at this pace, as I said previously, any trace of side on the cue ball completely sends it off its path. Stronger than you would have liked. So tricky 9 ball. And the heart is racing, I can tell you that. Excellent shot by David Mrázek, and he has taken these well. Positional play leaves a bit to be desired, but you can take nothing away from his potting. And sometimes players are happier to win a frame in which they lose position, but have to make up for it with tricky pots, than if it was a textbook drill style clearance with perfect position, because that shows them that they are able to play under the pressure, that they don't crack when faced with difficult pots, and that gives you a boost of confidence. So David Mrázek will be feeling good for the moment. And he needs to press home this advantage, this feeling of confidence and of playing well, because Jaroslav Tichý is somebody who, when he clicks into gear, can go on autopilot and run you to the ground. He is a player who can string 6 or 7 racks together in no time. So since he is being a bit shaky at the moment, David will feel like he needs to take advantage of Jaroslav's mistakes. Build an early advantage and send a strong message to Jaroslav. Either you up your game or you will lose this match. Perfect on the 3 to stun over for the 4 ball into the same pocket. Seven and 8 will be tricky because 7 is blocking 8 into the bottom right pocket. So will Jaroslav be tempted by the 6-9 combo into the same pocket he sinks the 5 ball? Oh, he will. Yes, he will. Let's see how he plays this. He could roll up behind the 9, 6 ball between 7 and 8, but when faced with a combo and with 7 ball pretty much safe, I feel like he will be going for the combination. Just a roll up in the end. And this is tricky for David Mrázek because the 8 ball is obscuring half of the 6 ball if he elects to kick it from the bottom rail, short rail. And he doesn't seem to have enough space to go off the top short rail. Or maybe he does with a trace of side. He could end up sinking the 8 ball here. Not enough side. So this will be an easy 6-8 combo for Jaroslav Tichý, with the cue ball being where the 6 ball is now, probably, for the 7 into the top pocket. As long as he doesn't lose the cue ball, he should clear up here. He is dragged up behind the 7. And this is a tough reach. He may need to take out the long rest. Or the spider, as it is known in snooker terms. I'm not entirely sure in this situation if the clock clock keeps running or if the referee makes a pause for the player to reach out for the long rest. Good shot by Jaroslav Tichý there. Either way, 6 is in, and this is a tricky 7. Especially with the corner of the side pocket in the way. Oh, completely mishit that. And he's been very fortunate once again. Not the best of starts by Jaroslav Tichý. Now then, if I was playing here, I would try to leave the 7 ball tight on the right rail and cue ball on the left, with the 9 ball possibly blocking the path to the 7. Let's see what David does. That is what he tried to play, and he's got the cover, even though he will not be happy with the shot, because that could have very easily been an open 7 for Jaroslav and game over. Tricky jump here because he has to make sure that the cue ball doesn't jump off the table, which it has, so this is 3-3. Let's see this one more time. The problem with these shots is if the player plays sure that the cue ball doesn't jump off the table, which it has, then he ends up cannoning the ball in the way, in this case a 9 ball. Yet if he plays it too strong, as Jaroslav did, then the cue ball often flies off the table. So this is 3-3 now. Apologies, it should say 4-2 for David Mrázek. That is a technical issue. We will sort it out right away. Yes, 4-2 Mrázek it is. So then, can Jaroslav Tichý up his game and find the level he has been showing all day? Because up until now, this was an excellent performance from Jaroslav. He coasted through his last 16 match with James Aikenhead. He won 9-3 and played very well, close to his best. Then he survived a very nervy, heart-wrenching quarterfinal with Nikola Moroz, who won 2 national titles last season. Jaroslav was leading 8-5 and seemingly on the verge of victory, but a slight wobble in form allowed Nikola to equalize at 8-8 and take the match into a decider. And in this deciding frame, Nikola was clearing the table. He was playing a tricky 6 ball, being jacked up behind the 9, and he made the 6 and got the cue ball in a perfect spot for the 7, but while playing the shot he accidentally touched the 9 ball with his cue and handed the match to Jaroslav Tichý, which was a heartbreaking moment for young Nikola. In that instant, which is available on the Facebook page of the ČNBS, you can see it, and I recommend you giving it a view, unless you are a Nikola Moroz fan. If you are, then you would probably want to skip it. Good kick-shot combo there from Jaroslav Tichý. In that moment, even though 7 and 9 were left on the table, Nikola conceded the match. The run-out was very easy for Jaroslav, but it was nonetheless against the rules and regulations of the Czech Moravian Billiard Association. But I don't think anybody can blame Nikola for reacting the way he did in that moment. And I would be very surprised if anybody even says a word about it. This is a good response from Jaroslav Tichý. He should reduce the deficit to 4-3 here. Unless he is short. He is, so he will have to go up and down the table. Cue ball is close to the cushion again. So probably He's gonna make it, but he should have been closer to the 9. Good shot. That will please Jaroslav very much, that clearance. And to get back to his path towards the final, in the semi-final, Jaroslav faced Petr Urban, a familiar foe. And again, Jaroslav was flying in the match. He won 9-5. In his own words, he says he should have won 9-2, but a few mistakes allowed Urban back into the match. But nonetheless, Tichý was able to close it out and reach the final for yet another time. David Mrázek's path towards the final was not as laden with controversy and frightful moments as Jaroslav Tichý's path, but it was no less difficult. Almost a golden break. He faced Wojciech Daniek in the last 16 and won quite comfortably. Then he was up against Jan Meissner in the quarterfinal and again won rather comfortably, so he made quick work of 2 very difficult opponents, to his credit, and faced David Žalman in the semi-final, where Žalman was a strong favorite because he was the number 1 from last season. He was in most finals of last year's ČPTour and National Championship, and he would have fancied himself to win. That is a big mistake by David Mrázek. But according to David Mrázek, Žalman was not playing that well in the semi-final, so he managed to emerge victorious, and here he is in the final playing Jaroslav Tichý. Could the 8 ball be in the way for the cue ball when coming back towards the 6? With a bit of right side, he should be able to avoid the 8, but the pot on the 5 is not easy at all. This is the key shot in this frame. He's cannoned the 8. So still in control, bank shot is on and an easy safety behind the 7, but he would have liked to have cleared up in this instance. Excellent shot. Brilliant feel for the table. So shouldn't be too difficult of a kick for David Mrázek, but where the 6 ball ends up is anybody's guess. He may want to pot it into the side pocket where the 9 ball is. So if that happens, he'll be very happy with the outcome. Extension called. Smart decision. This shot warrants some attention. Oh, my apologies, he could see it. I didn't know that. And that is a brilliant safety shot. Let's see it again. Oh, my apologies, he could see Wonderful feel by I didn't know that as well. And that is a brilliant safety. Exemplary safety shots. That's unfortunate. Oh, fortunate actually. I thought for the life of me the cue ball was going in. So the safety battle continues. David Mrázek will want to leave the 6 ball somewhere close to the 8, and in that case the cue ball will not be that important because the 6 will be locked up. But with that being said, this is very tricky. Oh, he went for it. Brave shot there, and almost made it. With that being said, this should be game Jaroslav Tichý and 4-4, as long as he can get in decent shape for the 8 ball. Or move it from the cushion. Ronnie O'Sullivan style shot there from Jaroslav Tichý. Oh, his heart was in his mouth for that 7. Well taken by Jaroslav. And he equalizes. From 4-2 down, he is back level at 4-4. And this match has suddenly become a race to 7. If David Mrázek can miss the 4 ball on the way up towards the 2, he will be well placed to take advantage of this very nice layout. It almost looks like a drill beginner players are faced with. So he'll be very well used to this setup of the balls. I have a feeling that 1-2 is the key shot here, because all the other balls are in the open. And nothing is on the cushion, nothing is blocking anything else. So whoever gets the 2 ball into the pocket will be in a strong position, but that was not a good shot by David Mrázek. Shouldn't have been anywhere near the 7 in that instance, so now he is faced with a tricky hook. He will want to catch this off 2 rails, hitting the bottom rail first to leave the cue ball up. Or like that. That is actually even better, even though he didn't intend that. Both players have had their fair share of luck in this match so far. Up and down by Jaroslav Tichý. Could have done with a bit more pace. And the 2 ball has just crept to the left enough for it to be potable. So if he can sink this, he will have a good shot on the 3 ball. Two ball down, 3 ball coming up with perfect angle for the 4. This is just a case of steadying your nerves, feeling your body as you take the shot, and remembering what you have done so many times in the practice table. Oh, he decelerated through the stroke there, and that is why he missed it thick. That often happens when a player mistimes their stroke, decelerates too quickly on the follow-through. The miss usually is on the thick side, so that is something to look out for players of all levels. If you notice that you're missing the ball thick, maybe the reason is that you are decelerating through the stroke, because when somebody plays for a while, aiming is not that big of an issue. It comes naturally. Actually, overthinking is not good in almost any case, but least so when the layout is good, because the arm knows what to do. The player has done this so many times in practice, in matches, and all they need to do is just trust their own experience and trust their own muscle memory. Sometimes players think that it is good to double check the angles, to look at every possible position, every possible trap. in order to make sure nothing bad happens, but in actual fact the opposite is often true, because by overthinking, by looking at the shots too much, you just slow down your mental process. You take your thoughts away from the shot itself and into a whole other sphere of angles, of outcomes that you know already, and that can just trip the player up. So my advice would be, if the situation is straightforward, if you know intuitively what to do, how to approach the table, which shots to take, which angles to follow with the cue ball, don't think about it, don't think twice, just play it. You know what to play, and there is no reason at all to confuse yourself, and that is something Jaroslav Tichý is very good at. He is naturally a fast player, and in his own words, he plays his best game when he is playing quickly, because he trusts his instinct so much. And he should very well do so, because he is a brilliant player. That's a good break by David Mrázek. Not too good on the 2-ball though, so he may elect to play safe. Cue ball behind the 8 or 7. 2-ball on the left rail as we look from this angle, and hope for a better chance after Jaroslav Tichý's shot. Very good line. And the 8-ball is blocking the escape from the bottom rail, short rail. So Tichý is in a spot of bother here. Maybe there's enough room to swerve it. Yes, there is, so he'll be doing that. Good shot. Very well judged, but Mrázek can cut this 2-ball nonetheless. I spoke to both players before the match, and they were both feeling relaxed and confident for the final, although approaching it from different points of view. David Mrázek admitted that he didn't even expect to qualify for the final day on Sunday, so he was just very happy to be there and playing carefree, which showed in his performances in the matches leading up to the final, as he misses that 2-ball, which was a bit tricky, to be honest. And Jaroslav Tichý was happy with his game. He said he showed a good level of performance in his previous 3 matches, which I must agree with. There is nobody on this earth who could say the opposite. But he also felt that his level dropped a bit when the matches were nearing their conclusion, that he didn't play as well when he got on the hill as he did during the match before. So that is something that will be in the back of his mind if and when he approaches the finishing line in this final. And he seems to have taken the advantage here, both mentally and technically. That is a bit of a mistake though, because from 4-2 down, he has seemingly clicked into gear. He is playing free-flowing stuff, while David Mrázek has somewhat slowed down and made a few crucial mistakes. So maybe this is a swinging point in the middle of the match. Oh, another slice of luck there for Jaroslav Tichý, because it seems to me from this angle that David Mrázek cannot get to the potting angle of the 6. But if he can see it full ball, all he needs to do is play a stop shot, send the 6 around the table, if he has the angle beneath the 8-ball, and leave Jaroslav Tichý hooked behind 7 and 9 with the 6-ball up the table. Although from this angle it is impossible to tell if he can even play it or not. He could, but he could not avoid the 8. So this is not ideal for Mrázek, but also not too bad, because Jarda is jacked up by the 9-ball and needs to play safe. Oh, heartbreak for Mrázek. That is so cruel. 9-ball can be such a cruel game, because Jaroslav Tichý did not play a good shot there. He lost the 6-ball. He wanted it on the left rail, yet it went too close to the side pocket. that close, in fact, that it dropped. So if he can make the 7, that will be very unfair to Mrázek. And potentially a turning point, because in a frame in the middle of the match, when both players make mistakes, the one who ends up victorious takes a sort of mental advantage as well. This does feel like a swinging point. From 4-2 down, Jaroslav Tichý is going to be 6-4 up. Yes. And David Mrázek will be feeling hard done by, both by a few of his mistakes and by Lady Luck. So if I were David Mrázek, I would ask for a timeout. Which he has done. It is almost as if he can hear me. He cannot, I assure you. The commentary box is sufficiently far away from the table so as to not interfere with the players. But David Mrázek, even though he is quite young, is an experienced player. So he knows how to recognize the ebbs and flows of matches, potential swinging points, and he's done very well to just steady himself here. Take a breather, go outside for a bit, breathe the fresh air, think about something else, maybe eat a chocolate, and come back as if it is 0-0, an entirely new match. So while David Mrázek is taking a timeout, I would like to take the opportunity to speak about some of the other players who participated in today's ČPTour 9-ball event. David Žalman and Petr Urban, the usual suspects in the finals, both lost in the semi-final, which is, again, an incredible achievement for any player. But it is still a bit strange to not see either of them in a final. In fact, I think that the majority of finals over the past 5 years, let's say, will have featured at least one of those two players. But again, that also shows the depth of quality on the Czech pool scene, because you have at least 10 players who are more than capable of making the semi-finals and finals on a regular basis, and oftentimes matches between them are played at the edge of a knife, which was the case today as well. We have seen some very, very, very tight matches, which were decided on just moments of sheer luck, of critical misses, or of brilliant escapes. I told you about the match between Jaroslav Tichý and Nikola Moroz in the quarterfinal, and I don't need to add anything about that. Feel free to check it out on the Facebook page of the ČNBS. But you can also look at some other very, very interesting matches. For example, Jakub Stuna, my apologies, was involved in 2 of them today. In the last 16, he faced Jakub Koňar, a legend of the Slovak game, who decided to have a crack at the Czech pool scene. And Jakub Stuna emerged victorious, 9-8. He was 8-7 down, played a very good safety, and cleared up from the following miss by Jakub Koňar. And then on Hill on 8-8, cool as a cucumber, he broke and ran out. So he won 9-8, and then he faced David Žalman in the quarterfinal. And again, it was 8-8. And again, it seemed that Jakub Stuna will run out and take the frame on the match on the decider. But he inexplicably missed a straightforward 8-ball. It was quite close to the bottom left pocket, as we look here, with the 9-ball on its spot, right around where it is now, and the cue ball smack in the center of the table. So all Stuna had to do was simply pot the 8 and run through. And somehow the 8-ball stayed in the jaws of the pocket. I had to take a few looks at the replay of that shot, because it is still inexplicable to me. Oh, what a shot by Tichý. What a shot. He is back. He is in full flow. So enjoy Jaroslav Tichý at his best, ladies and gentlemen. And now back to Jakub Stuna. So that 8-ball hit the jaws at least 6 times. And it seemed to be going right in the center, so I don't know if it caught something on the way, or if simply Stuna played it too hard, or a gust of wind blew into the Balabushka pool hall, where this is played, but the 8 ball stayed on the table, and David Jalman won to reach the semi and play David Mrázek. That's unfortunate by Jaroslav Tichý. So that just shows you that no matter how many national championships you've won, and Jakobstuna has been winner of 8 ball in 2017, no matter how many tough opponents you've beaten in deciders, good shot by Tichý, good jump shot, controlled. No matter how many times you've faced a pressure cooker, you are never immune to the jitters, to the nerves, which makes this game so captivating. Good safety shot there, right behind the 9. Yes, this is a shot that even if you don't play the snooker, you're in strong position, because to get out of it, you basically only can leave the 6 ball, in this case, on one rail, long rail, and the cue ball on the other, which leaves you open to the bank shot, either in the corner pocket or the side pocket. But if you manage to play the safety behind the bottom ball, which is 9 ball in most cases, you really have a strong position. And that's a good shot by Mrázek, because the 6 cannot go into the left side pocket, and the bank with this distance from the rail is a very risky endeavor. So Tichý will probably play safety again. Or the bank shot, and the brilliant shot at that. As I said, Tichý in full flow is sometimes just unstoppable. But not always. He is human after all, and he misses that very tricky 7, which he had to play with backspin to get position on the 9. So again, this will feel like a very, very important moment for David Mrázek, because if he can punish and reduce the gap to only 1, he'll feel good. But if he lets this opportunity slip, it will feel like a major, major blow for him. Extension called, smart, no need to rush this. Just a run through, and the 9 ball should be guaranteed. Good shot, although he could have done with the cue ball rolling maybe a foot longer, so this is a tricky 9 ball. In practice he would expect to get 9 out of 10, but this is not practice. It is very far from practice. 9 ball down, brilliant by David Mrázek, so he reduces the gap to only 1, which is, I think, great news for the neutral, because had Jaroslav Tichý won that frame, it would have seemed like he might run away here. As it stands, we are halfway through, 11 out of a possible 21 games played, and only 1 frame separates the 2 opponents, which makes for brilliant, captivating viewing. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. We had some technical issues, and now I am back on the air. So Jaroslav Tichý takes that frame. He capitalizes on David Mrazek's miss on a tricky free ball down the cushion to restore a 2-frame advantage. And this match is still finally balanced. Nobody so far has led by more than 2 games. So it feels like it's going to remain tight till the very end. With that being said, Jaroslav Tichý has taken 5 of the last 6 frames, so he will be feeling the more confident of the 2 players. Not ideal in 2, so it looks like we're in for another safety battle. We've seen quite a few of those in this match. I'm sure more than in the usual 9-ball game, which also makes for interesting viewing, because good shot on the 2. And is he fortunate? No, he's not. That's cruel. He deserved a better position there, because he played a great pot on the 2. And yes, he was cannoning into a lot of balls, but that was really unfortunate. He can't get through to this, can he? Oh, wow. Wow, that's great. What a shot. A jump across the edge of the free ball. Let's see that again. So that took some very, very good technique for the jump. So this should be bread and butter, and Jaroslav Tichý will look to extend his advantage to 3 frames for the first time in this final. Good angle on the 6 and on the 7, and this is looking ominous for David Mrázek. Not just by virtue of the scoreline, if indeed Jaroslav Tichý does make it 8-5, but also by looking at Jaroslav's body language, because as I said, he is a fast player, intuitive player, and all one needs to do is look at the way he walks on the table, and all questions about his confidence are answered. So 8-5 Jaroslav Tichý, and he'll be looking to press home this advantage. Another player who deserves a mention today is Tom Kurz, who has won already a few national championships in the junior level, so he is no stranger to reaching the final stages of the ČPT. What is special about Tom Kurz's performance today is that it was his first senior tournament after a broken arm. He took a few months off from the game to nurse his broken arm, and he came back and made the quarterfinals. He qualified confidently yesterday with 2 wins out of 2 and beat me today in the last 16. He played brilliantly against me. He didn't give me almost any chance. He took advantage of all my mistakes, which I'm somewhat unhappy to say were abundant. And he fully deserved to reach the quarters, where he faced Petr Urban. Urban won that match 9-5, I believe. But Tom Kurz did little wrong. He made very few mistakes, and it was Urban's brilliance that led to that scoreline seeming so emphatic. Is there an angle on the 5? He may have to play this with a touch of left side to force the angle for the 5, which is not so bad, because that will naturally lead the cue ball up the table off 2 rails towards the 6. So this is a tricky shot, but if it works out, he will be in good position. Conversely, if he feels like he doesn't have enough angle on the 5, he could play safe. There is 3 balls in the bottom of the table behind which to hide the cue ball, and 5 ball will be going up the table naturally, so a hook is a very likely outcome. Oh, but he didn't have enough angle. He didn't see the 5-ball full ball, so he had to play a masse shot, which did not work out for him. So Jaroslav Tichý will be looking good for a 9-5 lead here. Only potential issue I can see on the table is the 8-ball blocking the path of the 7 to the bottom left corner. Yeah, which Jaroslav Tichý thinks about. For now he's going to play a follow shot to shoot the 7 into the right pocket. Or side pocket. But that's not worked out according to plan. He can still make this, but the cue ball will be running away. He may end up hooked behind the 9 on the 8. If he can, he'll look to cannon the 9-ball from here and leave himself on the 8 into the left center pocket, but that is a very tricky shot. Good shot there. Made sure of the pot and managed to get the cue ball out towards the 8. What? He's missed the 8-ball. Incredible scenes. Did not expect that. That's pure carelessness. He would never ever have missed that had he looked at the angle for half a second. So yet another potential twist in this match, which has supplied us with quite a few mistakes, I must say, unexpectedly, which is not bad for the casual viewer. A lifeline for David Mrázek perhaps, as he reduces the gap to only 2 following Jaroslav Tichý's unforgivable mistake on the 8-ball. When he does play in the European Championship later this year, he must eliminate such errors at all cost, because that is not down to technique, that is not down to skill, that is only down to a lack of attention. Because in his mind, this frame was already wrapped up. He played a brilliant shot into 7 to get onto the 8 and neglected to pot the remaining balls. So Jaroslav Tichý will be very angry at himself. Two-ball has stopped just in time to be potable, so if Tichý can run out from here, he will forget the missed 8-ball very quickly. Just needs to make sure he gets far enough down for this 4-ball to be able to control the cue ball when potting it and not cannon into the 5. That looks good. Even if he does elect to play a cannon, it seems like he has the angle to send the 5-ball towards the left pocket and leave the cue ball on the bottom rail. Let's see how he plays this. Just like that, but he's missed the 4. Another bad miss by Jaroslav Tichý. And just when he was looking like hitting full flow. Let's see this one more time, because you will not see many of these when Tichý plays. So pot is not much of an issue for David Mrázek, but getting the cue ball in a good position for the 5 will be tricky. Lots of right hand spin, both to force the angle for the pot and to make the cue ball avoid the 7 and come back down for the 5. So this is a shot that requires attention. It is more difficult than it looks. Good thinking there. Make sure of the safety, which he did, and not risk allowing Jaroslav Tichý back in after such a glaring mistake. It is also good for David Mrázek on a mental plan, because this makes Jaroslav Tichý reflect on his error. Instead of clearing the table, he is faced with a difficult safety. And that can bring an opponent's confidence quite down. Yes, as I said, that's just frustration there. Very lucky by Jaroslav Tichý there to leave David Mrázek snookered. But the way he played that shot, that 4-ball, tells me that he has had enough of his mistakes. He just whacked the 4 without giving it almost any attention. Maybe he was trying to cut it into the bottom right pocket, but even if he was playing that, it's a sign of losing patience. So maybe this would be what a shot by David Mrázek. Unfortunate to not be on the 5. Maybe this would be a good time for Jaroslav Tichý to take a timeout, just to compose himself, because the momentum looks like it might be shifting, especially if Mrázek plays a good safety shot here. Which he has not done, although it's not too bad. This is still a very difficult pot for Jaroslav Tichý. But David Mrázek will feel like he could have done better from that situation. Good pot. But he will need another one on the 7. Does he elect to bank this 7-ball? Does he play safe with the cue ball on the bottom short rail and 7 on the top short rail? He banks it. He banks it. Great shot to make sure of the 7, but this is a monster of a 9-ball. This is brutal. Let's see it down the line of the shot. Yes, that was very hard indeed. So definitely a momentum shift there. Jaroslav Tichý has, in a way, handed 2 frames over to David Mrázek, which should never have been his. So now the gap is back down to 1. If I had to call a winner here, I would definitely not be happy with the task given to me, because it's so hard to tell what's going to happen next. Both players are capable of moments of brilliance, which they have shown throughout, but they are also both capable of unexpected mistakes. So hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. The next few frames will be a wild ride. Both dry and soft break, which does not happen often at this level. Although a lot of balls are down on the bottom half of the table, there is a real crowded space there, so getting any sort of position on the 2-ball will be a tough ask for Tichý. He can see it, which is a plus, so he may choose to play a safety here. Cue ball behind the 6, 2-ball up and down. Or like that, just needed a bit more pace. This is still a tricky spot for David Mrázek, but he'll be happy to be able to see the 2-ball. What does he do? Does he try the 2-6 combo? Does he cut the 2 into the side pocket? Excellent shot. Excellent shot there. Great control of the cue ball. And well deserved to leave Jaroslav Tichý hooked. So Tichý here will attempt to reach the 2-ball by coming off 2 rails, going around the left bottom pocket here, or he will just jump. The jump shot has been working for him very well today. And he does hit the 2-ball, but leaves it for David Mrázek, although this is a tough cut. Cue ball could be cannoning into the 9, so if he gets the 9 full ball, he will be well placed for the 3. Also, he may have the added bonus of accidentally sinking the 9. Let's see. Didn't want to hit the 7. Still on the 3 ball, but this is a tough shot. And he needs to play a deep screw to get back down for the 4. And in this situation, so close to the end of the match with nerves shaking, this shot is even harder. If he has angle, he can play a topspin, come around the angles, or safety, which did not work out sadly for him. Me personally, I would have played the draw shot. The safety was not evident. If it was on, it wasn't easy at all, so better go down fighting than go down defending. But then again, David Mrázek is the one in the final and not me, so perhaps his judgment is the one that should be taken as an example. Good shot to get on the 5. Now around the angles for the 6. Top right, he's checking the angle, looking at the line, and if he gets the pace right, he will be plumb perfect on the 6. He's short. 6 is still potable, but it's hard. If he does spot it though, he'll be sure to know that the cue ball is coming down for the 7 naturally, so not much work to do with the white. Another tricky pot. Again, just roll it in and the cue ball comes out for the 8 into the bottom left pocket. 7 in the top right. Yeah, I would have played it into the top right pocket. Just seemed like an easier pot. And another moment of drama here. Robin Vladika checking if the 7 is touching the rail, because if it is, David Mrázek can just roll up to it and not play a foul shot. But looks like it's not touching, so he'll have to hit at least one rail here, which he's made sure of, and that's a good shot. These are tricky because it's so easy to hit this shot thick and make the object ball come out into a potable position for the opponent. So good shot by David Mrázek. And an even better one by Jaroslav Tichý. He didn't even think twice, he just attacked because he knew he can make this, and make it he did. So this is not an easy 8 ball, but it is certainly potable. So another good shot here. And he will be on the 9, which he is, so this is going to be 9-7. And again, a frame decided by a mistake and by luck. In the end, the mistake did not prove fatal for Jaroslav Tichý, but in a different universe, it very well could have. So David Mrázek will be feeling aggravated. And we are yet to see a run out in this final, I believe. If I'm mistaken, please correct me in the comments. But it would be good to see a frame not marred by mistakes. If nothing else, then for both players' nerves. Still, Jaroslav Tichý is 9-7 up, and that is a sizable advantage so close to the finish line. David Mrázek would need to win 4 of the remaining 5 frames, which is a tough ask against anybody, let alone a champion as is Jaroslav Tichý. And we may see that run out here, because this is a very inviting position. As long as he makes sure not to be blocked by the 5 ball for the free, he'll be feeling confident. Excellent shot, very well controlled pace, and this is a good position for Jaroslav Tichý to get up on the hill. Although the way this match has gone, I hesitate to make any meaningful predictions about the outcome of the next shot or the next few shots, but I would be surprised if something goes wrong here for Jaroslav Tichý. Again, very nicely judged pace of the table. Simple slow roll, and he is on the 7. Another slow roll here, nothing fancy with the cue ball. 8 ball is just waiting there. Elected to make sure of not playing too strong, so that was a tough shot, but he executed it perfectly. And another good shot needed here on the 9. Nine ball is down, and Jaroslav Tichý is on the hill. Let's take a look at that difficult 9 ball again, because those require very good cueing and a very good lineup of the shot. 9 ball is down, and Robin Vladica is about to rack up the balls for potentially the final time in this match. If there is anything in this world that would suit David Mrázek at the moment, then it is a run out. The only thing that could be better than that would be a golden break, but I think he will take the run out. Some players go for the golden break by putting the cue ball in the middle of the break line and trying to cannon the 9, playing topspin straight into the face of the 1 ball, trying to cannon the 9 with the bottom ball in the rack, which in this case is the 6 ball, because there's 4 pockets into which the 9 ball could drop, both middle pockets and both top corners. But that is a bit of a gamble, because very few balls drop in that case, bar the 9 ball. So if it goes wrong, if the 9 ball stays on the table, then the opponent is presented in most cases with a very inviting table to run out. And David Mrázek is playing safe here. Behind 4 and 5, 2 on the bottom rail. Well played. Will we see another trademark Jaroslav Tichý jump, or will he try to go around the 7 and 8 of the right long rail? 7 and 8 it is, kick shot, and he will want to catch this off 2 rails, hit the 2 ball off the short rail in order to leave the cue ball down the table. But he's missed it. So ball in hand for David Mrázek. And I must say that 4 ball looks frighteningly out of reach. He'll need to play a very good positional shot to get into a good position for it, because the only 2 pockets that he can play it for are the bottom left and the top right pocket, and the area in which to get the cue ball for both is very small indeed, with the free ball being on the opposite end of the table. He could perhaps play the 4-5 combo into the right side pocket, but again, he would need to place the cue ball perfectly just to be in position to take that shot. So he may have too much of an angle here. He'll have to play this with a lot of bottom left to cut the angle and maybe even cannon into it. That's a good shot. So he may be playing the combo here. I don't see another shot that is on, except for the safety. Safety it is. And it's not bad. Tichý can attack this 4. Cue ball will be running away and may potentially cannon the 8 or 9 on the bottom of the table. But if he makes it, he will still be in control of the situation. Make it he does, and by placing a lot of right hand side on the cue ball, he's avoided the 8 ball, which was a very good shot indeed, so this is a chance to clear up. This is suddenly a golden opportunity for Jaroslav Tichý. Just get the cue ball off the rail and you'll be on the 7. Exactly like that. So this is looking like curtains for David Mrázek. And I fail to see any way in which Jaroslav Tichý is not going to win from here. 9 ball for the first ČPT title of the year 2024. 9 ball is down, and Jaroslav Tichý is the winner, ladies and gentlemen. Give a big virtual round of applause through emojis to Jaroslav Tichý from billiard club Řipská Praha, because he has displayed a great sense of winning mentality by attacking the finishing line, playing that very difficult four, and clearing up from the ensuing opportunity. And commiserations to David Mrázek, who has exceeded his expectations by far over this weekend and reached only a second final of the ČPTour. And he is one to look out for in the future. He will be 20 in a few days, so this is a very nice birthday gift indeed, although he will probably regret not punishing some of Jaroslav's mistakes. With that being said, there is nothing to take away from Jaroslav Tichý, who played his best game when it mattered the most, and I can only congratulate him. I hope you enjoyed this brilliant afternoon of pool, ladies and gentlemen. It featured a lot of drama, a lot of ups and downs, and one more time I invite you to check out replays of the quarterfinals and semifinals on both the ČNBS YouTube channel and Facebook channel. And with that, we finish this broadcast. My name is Damian Markovic, and it has been a pleasure to watch this match.